Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a first look at the Tier 4 Dutch cruiser, Ruyter. If you would like to get access to the ship as well before it actually comes into the next update of the Dutch cruiser event, then if you've got Amazon Prime, you will be able to get this through Prime Gaming. Looking at it, it looks quite good. So this is the Tier 4 in the line, and overall it does seem pretty good. I mean, it's not going to be indicative exactly of what the rest of the line is going to have, because from Tier 6 and above, that is where you're going to have access to the airstrike ability, so at the moment this is more just a cruiser with not too much else. So just straight off the bat, we have got a hydroacoustic search, and you have got the choice between a spotting and an attack aircraft. I've gone for the attack aircraft, and I've also gone for, well, I've got a 10-point captain as I spent a bit of Elite Commander XP, so as I'm currently running on screen, you'll see it's pop up. I've gone for Grease the Gears, Consumable Enhancement, Superintendent, and Concealment Expert, which does bring my concealment down to 10.5 kilometers. Now, at the moment with the upgrades, I've gone for Main Armaments Modification 1 and Engine Room Protection. Well, that's just, I want to see how, I guess, fragile the engines and steering gears on these, so we'll have to see how that really performs. But depending on how reliant I am on hydroacoustic search, I'm going to see whether it would be worth getting the hydroacoustic mod instead in that place. Now we do have a Peter Wielki coming into range over here, and I'm currently just getting in there. So these do have access to high explosive rounds as well as armor piercing, and they have got, well, this in particular has got 7 150mm guns, and they've got a range of 13.8 kilometers, which is pretty good for its tier, I'd say. I'm going to see if we can arc these shells over, because I'm not entirely sure what these shell arcs are like. Okay, they're not the widest arc, so you can't really be firing over close islands here. We're going to have to get a little bit closer just to try and get a bit of superstructure hit over here. Okay, we've got, yeah, not really too much in terms of hits there. So this is going to be suddenly an interesting battle, because there does seem to be a rather impressive force on this flank. So we may actually have to start turning around and maybe do a bit of kiting, which I think we'll have to do. And at the moment, the Monty... Oh, I never know how to say this. The Monty, I call them the Monty Broccolis because it's just easy to say. That does appear to be taking most of the flak at the moment, and the rest of the force is also coming around as well. So I'm going to start turning, possibly set some more fires. I mean, the Peter Wielki has got a single fire on them. They could put that out at any point because they do have the fast action repair parties, well, the damage controls, but he's probably, yeah, he was probably mitigating that with a repair party, and that has just come off. So in a second, we'll hopefully set another one. It does come with a base of, I believe it was a 11% fire chance, and I've stuck 2 of the signals on and some other standard combat signals to get an increase of 1%, so that should bring it up to 12. And I was wondering whether I'd need to go with IFHE or something. I wanted to see how they perform, but as it stands, I don't think I'll need to. So with a couple more captain points, or commander points, sorry, I'll instead go for an increased fire chance as well, just to buff that up a little bit more if it needs it. But I think as it stands, this is doing quite well in just alpha damage really here. And there we go, we've got another fire. They're going to be able to put that out again pretty soon. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that was the Ruyter, which took out our friend Monty Cuccioli. I'm struggling with those. Now, the one thing we do have to keep in mind with these cruisers as well is they don't come with a repair party, meaning the HP you lose, that's it. It is gone forever. So you do need to be very careful when you are dealing with that. And okay, thankfully our V170 has been very kind in dropping a smoke. But I am going to start turning stern on just in case this Peter Wielki tries to shoot us again. But it appears they are going for the V170 instead, which strategically is definitely the better of the options here, so fair enough to him. But that does also give me the opportunity to continue firing. Now the Fruitaka is also firing on me now. I'm going to load some armor piercing and see how that does. And we'll see if that's good at dealing with cruisers. So far, what I'm getting from this ship is it's just a... I mean, it's not horribly overpowered. I've only done 28,000 damage. and that's on a Peter Veliki, and I think anything with access to high explosive would do similar amounts of damage, so far it does seem like a pretty good cruiser. Once we do get access to tier 6, that will be a lot more interesting because we will be able to try out the new airstrike ability, but we don't have that at this tier, and we won't have it at tier 5, but we'll have to see once the Dutch cruiser event does go live. Now that is the Congo, which is still being attacked. Okay, I'm going to switch to high explosive, well yeah, now actually, because armor piercing doesn't seem to be doing too much, and we're not really getting much of a broadside opportunity here. Okay, yeah, 3 penetrations only did 1500. I think we will be sticking to high explosive for now, and I'm going to start shooting this class 1 once that free attack has been taken out. Alright, it appears the free attack is still alive. Okay, well, we'll try and get another shot off. But yeah, I think one thing I am... Okay, brilliant, that's that taken out. One thing I am curious of is how the Dutch cruiser event is going to work. I think it's going to be... Oh. Okay, that's the one thing about talking whilst playing is I'm not really as observant as I would normally be. So yeah, okay, got to be careful of this. But one thing I'm thinking of in terms of the event is this is a bit similar to how the Italian battleships event went. So they brought out their tier 4 battleship as a Prime exclusive before the event came out, so it gave people sort of a bit of time to try out the ship and see how it overall works. Okay, that was a nice hit there. And that seems to be what they're doing here, and during that event it was rather easy to get access to quite a few of those battleships, so you could get the tier... Well, you could get the tier 5, 6, and then it was quite close to getting the 7, but you did have relatively easy access to getting those battleships, and then with the German destroyers it was a lot harder to get, in my opinion. We might actually try and get some armor piercing going here in a second. So I'm hoping this is going to be a little bit easier to get these Dutch cruisers. Oh, brilliant. Okay, so the Guisiano is focused heavily on our host show, which is bad for the host show, but good for me. And I'm going to try out our armor piercing here as well to see if we can get any broadside hits. I want to see generally how it performs on the side of a cruiser, but currently who we're going against at the moment, a lot of these enemies have been rather vigilant in terms of what angles they're giving us, so we've not been able to do much. I may actually shift back to high explosive because I really don't want our carrier to be knocked out this quickly. But as it stands, this is handling this rather well, in my opinion. I'm not taking too much damage. Okay, I can't see where that Cavora is aiming. Oh, that is... Okay, this is quite bad. We are on the world border here. We really need to take out this Guisiano. Oh, this is quite bad. Okay. I've got to say, this must be a pretty decent player, as they are angling relatively well, and I'm really unable to do anything as it stands. Okay, come on. I'm going to try and get some superstructure hits here. Yeah, okay. Alright, yeah, it does seem that... Oh, wow, okay. Thank you, thank you. That has just saved us. We are going to start going for this class 4 now, as that is going to be the next thing hunting down our carrier. Okay, high explosive against these is quite good, and it does appear that the shell velocity is pretty decent as well, as it's getting to the targets rather fast. Okay, this should be the kill shot, or at least I'm hoping. Okay, no, I was hoping. Let's try and get a fine shot off before we start dealing with what's in front of us. Oh, come on. Really? Okay, well, it looks like one more shot, and then there we go. Okay, I'm going to drop some hydro. Okay, yeah, there we go. Now, we are in a bit of a predicament here because we do have quite a few ships around us. I'm going to focus on this Cavor here because that is... Ooh, okay. I don't know what the range is on Class 1's torpedoes, but I'm going to assume it is not going to run out quite yet. Yeah, there we go. We're going to be in a bit of trouble. I wish I could angle quicker than I've been able to, as those torpedoes were keeping us somewhat penned in. But let's try and get some more shots on this Cavor. And I know we're going to be dying here. Yeah, you can see that our HP is very quickly diminishing, but I'm trying to be as effective as possible with what we've got left. Okay, I'm not hitting anything there, so I might as well start going for the enemy Die and see what we can get on them. They've got a pretty nice camo on. Okay, two and a bit thousand damage there. I'm going to aim just a little bit above the armor belt there, just to get it onto the deck. And okay, that does seem to be rather effective. We're going to keep on doing this. I mean, whilst you're kiting, kiting is always a position you want to be in, because that's where you can do the most damage, and that does seem to be what we're doing at the moment. I mean, I think armor piercing would have been good there. I think we are dead. And okay, they got taken out, but not before they could get another shot off. I think this is going to be it. Yeah, we've got the tier 5 Italian cruiser on us as well, so we'll just see if we can get a set. Yeah, we got a fire. Okay. See if we can. Alright, that's that for that. Can we get something else? Okay, four non-penetrations. Okay, so I mean the Italian battleships, they don't really have all that much superstructure to go for, which is why we did get quite a few shatters on that and generally weren't too effective for that. But as it stands, that was, I'd say, a pretty decent game. So this was a tier 5 game, and this was the first game I've had in the ship so far, and from what I can see, that was really quite fun. That was. I mean, as soon as you do start taking fire, you feel it. So it's not a fact of it's got pretty amazing guns and it's invulnerable to. Ooh, that Cavor just really took a beating. To taking just any damage. It takes damage quite easily, as you saw there. But at the same time, when you're in a position like that, that was definitely a good. That's definitely a good way of playing it, just kiting away there. But even in an attacking position, I can imagine it's quite good because the shells are relatively decently reloading. I mean, I don't have Adrenaline Rush running on there at the moment because instead I went for Superintendent just so I could get more of those hydroacoustic search. But I don't think I'm going to need to spec for it because I don't really need to use it that much. But it's just nice to have that in addition. And plus, you do get access to the spotting plane. So if it is a fact of, let's say, I'm on the A cap on the enemy team and I'm trying to shoot things. Let's say only this Cavor was left, then I'd want to be getting that additional range just for the 20% bonus, and that would get me up to about 1.3, 2.6. So that would get me 14, 15. Yeah, it would get me about 16 kilometers or something, a little over 16 kilometers, which would definitely be quite useful. Now, I was going to back out of this game, but we may as well stick with it just to see how this overall goes. I'm going to be honest, I really don't think that Danae's going to pull it off, and that does bring us to the end of the game. Now, even though that was on a loss and holding off pretty much an entire flank, we did manage to come out of the game with 66,000 damage. Yeah, 163 target hits, so 101 penetrations. That's pretty good amount of damage there. I mean, 7 fires. We're not a spec for fire, so I mean, if you spec for fire, I can imagine you could probably bump that up a little bit more, and if you have some slightly larger targets that you continue focusing on, then I can imagine you can get that up even more. But overall, seems quite good. We'll just look on the team score. Okay, yep, we were top of the team by a decent margin there, and yeah, the enemy Ruyter also came at the top of the team there. They managed to get 3 kills. I think one of those was us. They got us with a fire, I think that was, so fair enough for them, GG. But overall, was quite good. I'm going to actually give them a compliment as being a worthy adversary. So we'll look at the detailed report and see what we did. So yeah, the Peter Veliki, that was definitely the majority of the damage. So taking that out of consideration, that was 40,000 damage on. Yeah, there's quite a few other targets. We managed to be pretty effective there. So yeah, overall, it definitely looks quite good. I mean, yeah, just looking at these stats, overall pretty good. Yeah, fires was a considerable amount there as well. So 24,000 excluding just farming that Peter Veliki. But yeah, overall, I think that's quite good. So, that was my first impressions of the Ruyter. I personally think it's quite fun. It didn't really seem too overpowered because the gun reload was long enough to make it so it's not just going to be spamming out shells. And overall, I think that's quite good. So, if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.